Okay, just give me a minute to check. Is it live? Okay, just let me do a double check. Yeah. Hopefully it's live. Yes, it's live. Yes.
Yoo-hoo!
Hello, parents. This is Coach John here from Learning Out of the Box, and thank you so much for being here. And I know that these 2 weeks are pretty intense for our 12-year-olds because PSLE is coming next week. So just do your best and make sure that you take care of yourself as well. And today I have a very special guest all the way from Switzerland. Hello, Esther.
Hi, John. So
Hi.
great to be here.
Thanks for being here. And parents, we have Esther, and she's staying. And you mentioned that you are staying very near to Zurich.
Pardon?
And you mentioned that you are staying very near to Zurich.
Yes. Zurich. Yes, the big city.
Yes. Parents, this year, as you know, we can't travel. So I love to bring on guests from other countries so we can have a sense or we can pretend that we are in other countries at least for 1 hour. Okay, parents, the reason why I brought Esther up is because she has just written a book on bullying. And I think that being a parent myself, we do hear stories of other children being bullied in school. And sometimes we do hear stories of our own kids being bullied in school. So I think that I really want Esther to share with us some of the tips on how can we better manage this sensitive issue. Yeah. Okay. So Esther, before you start, would you be able to share with us what you do and help us to understand where you're coming from and how do you end up writing a book on bullying?
Good question, John. Yeah, it has been a long journey. I studied literature, world literature, and I always wanted to write the book, but I was so afraid of being laughed at with my book because I studied really high literature and I knew I couldn't get there with my book. So I became a journalist and I was writing all my last years, many years of my professional life. And but the dream of writing my own book has always sleeping in me. And when I got coaches 3 years ago who told me, do what you love and it will be amazing. So I remembered, and the dream of publishing my first book just popped up again, and I did it. I was so scared. I thought I'm gonna write a small children's book because children's books are not that heavy and you can get yourself out that much. So the fear of being laughed at couldn't be that much, but it was, for me, it was a big thing to get this book out.
So what motivated you to write a book on bullying?
So actually I thought, well, I don't choose a topic which is not too close to myself, but finally it was the topic bullying, and definitely the fear of not being good enough. That was my topic, but I put it in the shoes of my smaller son. He's called Leonard, and Lulu is our cat. And the story goes Leonard and Lulu. And yeah, actually it started that my younger son, this is the true story, my younger son didn't want to go to school because he felt bullied, and not actually by the colleagues, but by the teachers. At that time, he had 3 teachers, but they were so busy with 1 or 2 colleagues because they are really challenging. And my child, Leonor, he's a sensitive child and he's not doing a lot of action, and he was kind of shy and always hiding a little bit, my topic as well. And then he said, well, I don't feel comfortable at school because he wasn't seen, he wasn't heard, he wasn't understood. And myself, I have this challenge since years. I had it, I overcame it now, but I had it. I knew exactly how he felt, not being seen, not being heard, not being understood. And he said, I want to stay home with our cat. We have a small cat, Lulu. And then, well, what I did, sometimes I said, well, let's try. You go tomorrow, but today you can stay home and you relax and you make yourself a good stay. And so, and I let him being home because I felt he was intelligent enough. He didn't need any whatever school topics, but it was his well-being, which was the most important thing for me. And that's why I allowed him to stay at home from time to time. Sometimes he went to school maybe 2 days from the whole week, and he stayed at home, and he felt comfortable. And I think it was so important that I was listening to his needs, and I took him really I saw what he needed. And
wonderful.
Yeah,
great. Yes. And in fact, thanks so much for sharing, and also thanks so much for being vulnerable, as well as especially on the new platforms that you have just joined. Yeah. Yes. Probably can share some back stories about myself and how I started off our company, Learning Out of the Box. And just like you, I started off to help my kids because many friends told me that Singapore mathematics is really hard and many kids dislike it. Yeah, so I did it out of love for my kids as well. Yeah, and I was looking through your Facebook, and because I'm a cat lover too. Yeah, and I am trying to find a picture of a cat. Is it a white cat? Is it a white cat?
No, it's not the white cat. It's the one who has 3 colors. It's a female. The male cat, they have only 2 colors, but female, I don't know how it's international, but the female, they have 3 colors in Switzerland.
3 colors, wow.
Yes, black, white, and brown.
Okay, because I think I'm trying to help the parents to understand where you're coming from. So let me just try my luck. Okay, and then later I will share with them your book. Is it this cat, Lulu and Lopi?
Yeah, that's the mother, Lulu, and now we have also the Lupi. Yes.
Oh, what's a beautiful cat.
Yeah, it's totally white, just with a black tail and a spot on the head.
Awesome.
Thanks for sharing, John. That's nice.
Yeah, because I think it's really to help the parents to understand. Because I think the most of the guests that I have brought online, they are based here. Yeah, so they can better relate to them. Yeah, but at the same time, I think even though we are all staying in different parts of the world, but I think when it comes to loving cats, we are all the same. Yeah. Okay. There's this book that you have written. Yeah. So let's say if a parent wants you to share with you a story that her child was bullied in school, primary school, and the child is between 7 to 12 years old. So what are the top 3 tips that you can share with a mom in how to manage this sensitive situation at home?
Yes, thank you for asking. So I think the most important thing is that as a parent, I understand or I feel with my child. And maybe I think back how I was as a child, and maybe I had the same challenges as my child today. And I think the most important thing is just to take it serious, what my child is telling me. And with the book, I want to help people to speak more, parents, adults, to speak about more feelings. And if I speak about my feelings, my child, I think, will also speak about the feelings. Because if I, as a parent, I show myself vulnerable, then my child will also come up with its or his own feelings. Only if, imagine you're just asking, how do you feel? Probably the child feels ashamed of telling how he really feels, because he or she, the child, wants to make parents happy, and they don't want to talk about challenges. Maybe they feel that his or her parents have enough challenges, and the child doesn't want to show he or she has difficulties in school, and don't want to bother his mother or his father with his own challenges. So I think the most important thing is just to listen and share also.
Yeah. Could we do a simple role play here?
Yeah,
Open to that.
yeah.
Okay, so let's say I am I'm your son. Yeah, because I know that your sons are 17 and 15 this year.
Yes, next year, but it's
Next
soon.
year. Yeah.
Soon.
So and I believe that they are more handsome than me. Yeah. Okay.
No.
Yeah. So let's say I come to you and say, "Mommy, someone stole my book today," and when I confront him, he refused to return to me. Okay, so what will you say to me?
So
I'm crying.
can you help me? How old are you?
Okay, let's say 10-year old.
10. Okay, 10. So I would go, John. Yeah. So tell me what happened, and how did this story go, or what was happening actually?
I was just reading my book in the class while waiting for the teacher, and then he just snatched my book from behind, and when I wanted it back, he laughed at me and he even pushed me. Then the other boys also laughed together with him, and I felt so hurt.
I'm so sorry to hear that, John. That must have felt you must have felt, yeah, it's painful. I mean, everybody is laughing at you. I know, I remember when I was at school, yeah, my colleagues also laughed at me. And, even today, sometimes I'm afraid that people laugh at me. So I can understand and I can feel how this is for you. And
I want my book back.
yeah, sure. And so they left and you couldn't talk to them anymore, right?
Can you go to school and get it back for me?
Do you think this is a good idea, John?
Yes. Yes.
Do you really want me to do that?
Yes, and scold them and punish them.
Punish them? What do you want me to do to them?
Scold them. I want you to scold them because they hurt me.
I see. But do you think this is a really good idea, me showing there? How about trying yourself?
So I can scold them?
You can
You can school them.
not school them, but asking them what's going on. Asking questions. What's going on? Why did you do that? What's the purpose of all that? Maybe it's better to start a conversation.
But I'm scared.
Yeah, I can feel with you. I know you're scared. I was scared as well at school. I didn't speak up at all. I felt miserable whenever I had to talk to my colleagues.
Okay, so now out of the role play,
Yeah.
help us to understand what you just did and what are the reasons behind asking those questions in that way.
What was why I asked this way? I think it's important to understand what my child is thinking. If I go and just talk, I don't know what's happening in my child's brain. I need to find out what's going on. So, for example, Leonard, he had a teacher, and she was never content with what he did, although it was perfect. And she always scolded him. Yeah, you have to do this and this and this. And then I decided, now it's important. I have to go and speak with this teacher, speak from adult to adult. And I told the teacher, let's have a chat, or let's meet. And then Leonard, he needed to come with us. He didn't want to, but I told him before we had this conversation with his teacher, his teacher, it was a female teacher. And then I said, Leonard, whatever happens in this conversation with this teacher, I will be at your side. I will always strengthen your opinion, and I will listen. Even if the teacher doesn't listen to you, I will be at your side. And that's how he said, okay, Mom, we can do it, because I know you are with me, and you're not going adults with other adults against me. And so this helped a lot, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I like the parts that you shared. It's so important to let a child feel that we are on their side, rather than we are here to teach them a lesson. Yeah, because I think that from my experience of working with parents, and even I may sometimes make the same mistake as well. So back to the scenario when someone stole my book. Yeah, one of the common remarks that I heard from my experience is the parents may say, didn't I tell you that you're not supposed to bring the book to school? Look what happened. Yeah, so I think it also may cause an interpretation that now it's a child's fault because he brought the book to school, rather than addressing the bullying case.
Yeah. Very nice.
Yes, I was browsing through your website, and so let me just do a quick sharing. Yeah, do tell us and share with us like how's the response from the kids, and how do you because I think to share about bullying, it could be quite scary for some children because it actually happened to them. Yeah, so how do you empower kids in your case? Yeah, so how do you get them to learn about the techniques to deal with bullies or to manage their own emotion?
Yeah, good question, John. Let's do it through the person Leonard in the book. So sure. Leonard in the book, now it's not my son anymore, it's Leonard in the book. he is scared of going to school. And in the morning, there was sitting a cat, the cat Lulu, on his bed. And they started the conversation. And then Leonard said, "Oh, I'm so afraid of going to school again." And Lulu, the cat, says, "Let's come. I will be with you. I will take you to school and I will be there." And then Leonard, "Oh, wow, what an idea. This will help me probably." And so the story goes that Leonard and Lulu, they have this conversation even at the breakfast table, but mother doesn't understand why Leonard is speaking to someone else. So she didn't understand the cat language, but Leonard, he understood the cat language. And this helped him to go to school, and this made him more stronger. And after school, the cat takes him to the cat's world. And there, Leonard, the small Leonard, who feels I'm not good enough, he teaches the cats and dogs how human beings are functioning. So in the story, Leonard is the teacher of somebody, and this makes him feel so good because he could teach somebody something. And I think nowadays, maybe if you allow me to go to teenagers now, topic teenager, they are our teachers actually. When I didn't understand it. When my boys were 12 or 14, I had a lot of problems with them. I was always fighting and so. And suddenly I understood they are our teachers. They want to teach us something. They want to teach us patience. They want to teach us understanding. They want to teach everything we are not good at the moment. And when I saw this, since then, the relationship with my boys completely turned around. So there is so much more respect and it's just amazing how it changes.
Help us to understand your journey. So what was the turning point that make you realize as a parent, your teenagers are your teachers?
I was listening to Dr. Shefali. She's a great psychologist.
Yes.
In the States. Do you know her?
No.
No, but she was telling that in the interview that our kids are our teachers. And then I started changing my mindset, and I understood it helps. It really helps.
Could you elaborate on like what do you mean when teenagers are our teachers? And because I think could you give us some examples, like maybe some of your life stories, or okay, let me share with you my interpretation, because I agree with you as well. Like for example, my eldest girl, though she's only 10, but there are many times that when I didn't spend enough time with her and she acted out. And I mean, as a parent, I can see as either way. One is to shoo it away and take it as, hey, it's just you. Probably it's just your one. It's just one of your bad days. Or I can start to self-reflect and ask myself, what's the cause of it? Is it because of something that I did or I didn't do that has resulted in this behavior in my kids. Yeah. So what about managing teenagers? So what's your experience, or what are some of the examples that you have experienced when your teenager taught you something that, hey, actually is very important?
Yeah, good question. So sometimes I'm stressed in my job, in my occupation, and then I'm looking around and I'm seeing a lot of things laying around, and there's a mess, and then I get upset and
Like me, it's like me.
and I think,
Chase them,
oh
right? And
my
chase them,
God,
walk them.
and we didn't do that, and my child didn't do this and that, and so, and it gets further and further, and
Yeah.
I'm in this program. My inner program is running.
Yeah.
And in this moment, I really try to tell myself, hey, Esther, you're stressed out. You need to figure out how you can get calm, how you can take maybe 5 minutes of your time and just do something with yourself to make you feel better, to make you feel happy again, and not seeing all these challenges around. And then when I'm in this beautiful state of mind, what I learned from Tony Robbins, when I'm in this beautiful state of mind, I don't scold the child anymore, because, well, so what? I can go maybe and say, hey, come on, maybe it would be nice to clean up someday. When are you willing to do it, or so? But I'm confronting my child in a totally different state of mind from the first or the second state, right? And the interaction will be totally different. First, every child and parent will get, oh my God, it's your bad day. Maybe they don't say, now my teenagers tell me. If my teenagers now feel I'm stressed, they say, oh, you have a bad mood, Mom. So they tell me, actually, and they tell me to go back to myself and to see how I can help first myself, to speak after that with them in a respectful way.
Wow, and I like the parts that your teenager told you that you have a bad day. And my guess is probably for a teenager to be able to be so direct only means that you are close to them.
Yes.
Yeah, so that they can be so upfront.
Yes.
So how do you bond with your teenage kids?
How I bond with my teenage kids?
Yes. What are some of the family routines that you do every day and every week, such that you got so close to your children?
Yeah, good question. We don't have any rituals at all, but I think I tell myself just to interact and to speak with them in a respectful way. That's what I tell myself every week. At the beginning of the new week, I tell myself I want to interact with my children in a respectful way. And maybe I think what we could do this week to make them happy or so. Sometimes, nowadays teenagers don't want that much. They say, oh, I'm fine, Mom, I don't need anything special or so. But when you have smaller kids, they have things they really want. And maybe it's good to think about the beginning of the day or the week. What could I do just to have a good relationship with my kids and to make them have fun, and or we have fun all together, and not seeing all the the topic from school and the exams and everything. I mean, probably when you get up, you see what we have to reach with your children. They need to do this, pass this exam, and they have to get these grades. And well, yeah, I understand it's important, but maybe isn't it much more important to have a nice conversation with them about just feelings, or just how the world feels nowadays, or I don't know, or about their friends, or
Great.
how about that?
Wonderful. Yes. Thanks for sharing. Yeah, because for parents who are still listening to us, and I know that for most Singaporean parents, this is still a working hour. Yeah, so thanks so much for joining us. Then the reason why I wanted to hear about Esther's experience in bringing up her teenage kids is because in my own experience, I think when a child is being bullied in a school, two things can possibly happen. One is he turned outwards, which is okay, I need to get help. Yeah. And who does he turn for help will be dependent on his relationship with the person. Yeah. Or he can turn inward and just withdraw or cramp up. Yeah. So I think because in the past I used to be a social worker, and I work with single parents and kids. And one thing that I realized is how kids open up is dependent on their relationship with their parents. If the kids are not comfortable with their parents, there's no way they are going to share what has happened in school. And how much they share, whether they will just say a mere okay or share in depth, depends on the daily maintenance of the relationship between the kids and the parents. And this is actually done by the parents. Yeah, so everything, in my opinion, is interlinked. Yeah, so I believe that relationship is very important in this topic as well, because the kids need to feel safe and not be judged or further hurt if the child decided to share that he is being bullied in school with the mom or dad.
Yeah, very beautifully said, John.
Yes. So I suppose that you have shared your story about Leona and Lulu, right? Did I get it wrong? Did I get it right?
It's right.
Yeah, Lulu.
Leonard and Lulu. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, great. Yeah. So what are some of your experiences when you talk to parents? Well, how receptive were they when you tell them about the stories? I mean, did any parents say that, hey, it's just a story, but it is harder to apply in real life, or what, or how was it in your experience?
I think it's nice to have this. First, for smaller children, it's nice to have a book to look at. My book, there is half-page picture or illustration with a beautiful cat, and so it's nice to look at the pictures with smaller children. And for older children, it's nice to read with them or read for them the story. And I think it's important to share the feelings and together. And I think the most important thing that you find a moment to be together and to share something. Even if you don't speak about feelings, it's great that you feel this kind of, it's a bond. You sit together and you do something together without a goal, a purpose. It's just the fact that you're sitting together and you speak or you talk and think. I don't know how your kids, what they do, but my kids, they love when I told them stories at night before going to sleep.
Even right now.
No, not anymore. But until 12 or so, they always wanted to hear a story, or we were reading books. I was reading them a lot of books, and they love these time together before going to sleep. And if I hadn't ended these times, they wanted to listen to 2 hours. And I always said, no, we have to sleep. But Mom, no, just a little bit more and more. I don't know if you do that in Singapore with kids, that you tell them stories at night.
Oh, yes. What I did when my children were younger is there's always bedtime stories, and it can be from books or it can be from our own our life stories. Yeah, and I really like the parts that you mentioned. Is finding a moment. It could be a family ritual that this time is meant to be spent between the mom and the child, or the dad and a child. Yeah, because I think what is important here is sometimes children will wait until the special moments at the end of the day to share with the parents what happened in school. Yeah, and maybe some kids may not know that he's being bullied, but because the child feels so safe to share about what happened to him in school, that the parents may be able to pick up that, hey, this is a bully case. Yeah, so I really like the parts that you mentioned, that it's good to have such moments with children.
Yeah.
Great.
Totally.
Yeah. So if a parent is very new to this and probably at home, they how should I put it? Yes, many parents want to try, but they are not very used to, hey, I need to listen to the feelings. I mean, there's so many steps to it. So what will be some of the easy tips for parents to use, to apply when they have identified that this is a bully case shared by their children?
Good question, John. Yes, I think it's important to listen into myself. If I had maybe in my childhood, if I had a kind of story, if I can relate to the feeling my child is telling me, because probably everybody has had some experiences in childhood where he felt bullied in a certain way. And if I can relate how I felt at that time, and maybe if I can share this time with my child, then yeah, my child gets maybe opens up more, and maybe will also speak about her or his feelings. But
Great. Yes. So in a sense, just to clarify, you are saying that finding or creating the moments for children to feel safe enough to share.
Yes. And I think everybody knows how his child or her child is feeling at certain moments. Only maybe I'm not in the mood of listening or feeling. Maybe as a parent, sometimes I'm rather busy with other things and with getting money and doing my job. And but maybe if we are listening more to our inner voices as parents, how my child is feeling, then we can maybe connect easier to the child, because we are more aware what's going on. Maybe we don't actually know what's happening at school, but maybe we can feel that the child is a little bit down, low energy or so. And if we can sit with this child and maybe just spend a few minutes and give this child the self-confidence and telling him how great she or he is, this helps also to strengthen children who are bullied at school.
Mm-hmm. Awesome, great. Thanks. Okay, so you mentioned that your book is available in Amazon.
Yes, I have the privilege that it's been published by a New Yorker publishing house.
Mm-hmm.
And they did this soft cover version, which can be shipped everywhere. So you can order it on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
And if someone is interested in reading the continuation, which I published this year, but it's not available in a soft cover, it's hardcover version, and you can order it on my homepage with www.swissmadestory.ch. So this is my blog. I started with a blog years ago, and you can also find on my blog, you can find the conversation between brothers, my silly two boys, 2 years difference, what they are talking to each other in a silly manner. So I wrote about 24 silly conversations between brothers. You can find it also on my blog.
Is it here?
Yes, on this, if you go to blog.
Yes, so which one should we visit?
Maybe if you do category boys, you will find on the right side, there is a category boys, and you will find, if you scroll down, maybe, scroll down, it's coming. Maybe more. No.
These are your boys?
Yes, these are my boys. There's the last conversation.
Wow. I think that they resemble you.
Yeah.
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 Wow. I can see that they are very close.
They're very close, but they're totally different.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so which one are the ones, or it's just as the individual posts?
Pardon, I didn't get your question.
And you mentioned about the interesting conversation between your sons.
Yes.
Is it that they come in individual posts, blog posts?
Yeah, there's this series of 24. Yes.
Okay, so I just have to check, visit those with title, conversation
between brothers.
Scene.
Then sometimes they were fighting a lot together at those age.
Yep.
They're beating each other up, and also by words. And sometimes the only method to getting rid of these feelings I had, because I couldn't do anything, I could just react to one or the other and say, hey, come on, be a little bit more respectful with the other one. But sometimes they were in this flow of this conversation and beating each other up. So the only method to get rid of this, I started writing the conversation, and then I felt better afterwards. I don't know if you can relate to this. If you have several children sometimes really being mean on each other.
Yes, it happens every day. Yes, and I agree with you. Like what we parents are trying to do here is we can't prevent the fights or the quarrels at home, because it's part of growing up. I mean, I do hear similar stories from friends who have siblings, and they were sharing that when they were younger, they always fight and quarrel. Yeah, and it's only until probably in their 20s then they got closer, and somehow many of them shared that the fights and the quarrels actually brought them closer.
Yeah. Yeah, I can tell parents who have smaller children beating each other up and fighting, I can tell you it gets better between them. Now my boys 15 and 17, they are rather respectful human beings with each others. Sometimes when they are together for too many hours or too many days, then they start again. But in the meantime, they really got this kind of respectfulness for each other, and I'm so grateful that happened. Otherwise, yeah, as a parent, it's tough.
Yes. Yeah. So right now we have come to almost the end of the sharing. What will be your key takeaway for parents?
Good question. There are so many keys I learned myself. But I think the one thing with the respect is the most, maybe it's difficult when there are smaller children because you have to teach them a lot of things. But sometimes I think it's important just to imagine it's another being. It's not your child. Maybe you disconnect with the idea it's not your child you have to educate. It's a human being who has feelings, ideas, dreams. Maybe it's 7, 8 years old, and it's just another human being. And if I disconnect with the fact that I need to educate this other human being, maybe I just take it like it is, with its beautifulness, with everything, then maybe it's easier to connect in difficult times, challenging times.
Great. Thanks for sharing. So if the parents wants to get in touch with you, do they go to your website?
Yes, or I'm all over social media, Facebook, Instagram. I have a podcast where I teach all my learnings from the last 3/4 of a year with a Tony Robbins coach. And my topic will be in my upcoming book, Living Without Fear. And this is also the title of my podcast. And I created during COVID, during lockdown, I created a 5-minute episode every day.
Wow.
On topics like, birth, self-love, and this podcast, I'm really grateful, it has been listened to 37 countries, and we are now by 700 plays or something.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah, you'll find all on the website or on podcast, Apple Podcast or Google Podcast.
Great. Yeah, so for parents, if you're keen to get in touch with Esther, you can contact her at her website, or you can check out her podcast if you are interested. Okay, Esther, can I ask you one question which I always ask my guests? Yeah, okay.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, as you know, I manage a Facebook group of parents who help their children in their primary school mathematics. Yeah, so I teach the parents how to teach their children mathematics at home. Yeah.
Yep.
So the question that I want to ask you is because right now the 12-year-olds are pretty anxious or probably stressed out because the major exam, their primary school leaving examination will start next week. And it's
Okay.
a big thing in Singapore. Yeah, so
Oh my
parents will get
God.
stressed, kids will get stressed, the whole family network will get stressed, the teachers get stressed as well. Yeah, okay, so right now the question is, let's say if I invite you to walk down your memory lane, and then you meet the 12-year-old Esther. Yeah, you meet the 12-year-old Esther, and you got so close to her that you can almost feel her and touch her, and she's looking at you in the eyes. So what will you tell? What will the older you tell the younger Esther? Can be anything. Can be about
Yeah.
life. Can be anything. There's no right or wrong.
Beautiful, beautiful thought. Yeah, I would tell the smaller Esther, you can do it. You're so amazing. You are just absolutely great. You're just wonderful. And I can just share a little bit of my story. My father was a mathematics teacher.
Really?
Yeah, and I had problems with math, and I went to him with my calculations, and then he realized that I didn't check this and this and this and this, and we always started at Adam and Eve, or we started at the very beginning, and at the end of the 2 hours I was always in tears because my father, he saw that there are missing points, and he tried to help me, and he didn't help me much because after these 2 hours I felt so not self-confident at all. The total, I was so down.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this didn't help at all. So what I really teach my children, or I taught them, you can do it, you make it, you're amazing, you're wonderful, you're super. And that's how also my boy, my teenager boy, he had to pass exams this year to go to the high school. And he was learning with a girl, and she was smarter than him. But this girl, she heard always from her parents, I don't know if you are good enough, and so on. And this girl, she is more, we knew she is more intelligent. She is more intelligent than Leonard. And they learned together, and she knew everything, but her mindset wasn't that the one as Leonard had, and she didn't pass the exams, although she is more intelligent than Leonard. And Leonard, I told him, you're great, you're doing amazing, you will make it. And he did it.
Wow.
So it's mindset, and it starts already with small children. You can teach it.
Wonderful. And I didn't know that your dad was a mathematics teacher.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, I can relate to that. And a lot of times when I teach my own kids, parts of me may feel that, hey, why is it that you don't know this? Yeah, but at the same time, I think it takes a lot of conscious effort to see through the child's eyes that this is something new to her, and probably if I were her age, I may not be able to solve that question as well. Yeah, but it's I would say that it really requires daily conscious effort, and it's not easy.
Yeah, but also tell them they're amazing, even if it's not true. I mean, not true, even it's not that terrific. Maybe you think parents overthink they could do better, but even you are not convinced it's amazing, tell them you're great, because this is the feeling they receive, and with this feeling they're going to go to the exams. And I really want to encourage all the parents listening to us and watching us. to tell their kids before they go to the exam, you will do it, you are great, you're wonderful, and you will manage to pass this exam.
Yeah, and when you were sharing, I think I saw this image in my mind, because I just went to the park yesterday and I saw these parents with a very young kid, and she was learning how to walk, and the parents were cheering for the kid, and the kid was just trying to take her first few steps. Yeah. Then when you shared, and it dawned on me that somehow along the way, when our children were younger, they didn't know how to run or walk fast. But as parents, we were just cheering them on. Hey, you can do it, you can do it. Yeah, but somehow along the way, this encouragement lesson and it disappeared. And I think sometimes some of us may tend to magnify the weakness of the child and forgot about what a child can do, or what a child can do well.
Yeah, this is very beautifully said, John. It's exactly this.
Great. Thanks so much, Esther. Really appreciate all the sharing
Thank
that
you
you have done.
so much.
Yes, and I realized that somehow the struggles that we parents have are almost similar, even though we are from different countries. Yeah, but I think somehow sometimes our children drive us nuts,
Sure.
and we'll nag at them no matter how old they are. Yeah.
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 And relationship and like what you say, the respect,
Yeah.
they are universal. Yeah. It doesn't matter which part of the world we are in. We want our children to grow up to be respectful adults.
Yeah.
And that's it.
So thank you so much for having me here. And I'm so glad that we talked about all this. And I really hope that our parents can, all these parents of this platform can use just a little bit from this sharing.
Great. So parents, thanks so much for being here, and thank you, Esther. And hopefully we will see you again in Zurich, or is it in Switzerland?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Okay,
Yeah.
have a great day, John.
Yes, great. Yeah, okay, don't go off first. Just catch up for a short while. Okay, parents, I'll see you around, and later at 7:30 Singapore time, we have a friend who is coming on board to share with us how to do well for PSLE Chinese. Yep, so stay tuned. Take care. See you at 7:30 later today. Bye-bye.
Bye.